in the electric, smoke-filled haze of the Joe Budden podcast studio, where every mic is a magnifying glass and every hot take a potential crime scene.
We outside by 5 p.m.
I was texting right.
I was texting Shaggy.
I'm like, yeah, this was due April 19th.
Texting Shaggy.
Shout you too. Shout out to Shaggy.
I love Shaggy.
Yeah,
I saw you doing his lyrics on the internet.
they said your name, and the lady said your name. I'm like, yo, don't, I even said it in the video. It's about to drop today. I'm not Flip from that. I'm Queenzflip. Told her directly.
Well, how they know you?
Like Pat introduced me one of Joe Budden's co-hosts. Nah, I'm Queenzflip. Like, he know me, miss. He know me. They telling you who this man is. Don't compare me, because he's gonna use it.
But you are Joe Budden co-host
from the Joe Budden podcast.
No, I'm not. I'm Queenzflip.
But that's how they've heard of you.
And I'm on the Joe Budden podcast, not from.
Did you not mention JBP when you tried to get into that show last week?
No.
Oh, that's maybe you should have mentioned.
It's an ego thing with him and I. Like, it's a power thing. Like,
that's why you stayed outside.
That's why you was right.
Who's winning?
That's why he was bogling from the parking lot.
Who's winning? Ego war.
He did the slicks again. Hold on.
The man said you was bogling in the parking lot.
No, I wasn't. But I was in the parking lot though.
I think I'm at Barclays Saturday.
Who's winning the ego battle? Yeah. I'm winning now. He was winning. He was destroying me. Sonic. But I'm back. He was bodying me.
All right, just so you know, I am not competing.
You started it. You told me you all started it. Yo, this power struggle, ego battle, I'm going to come out. You told me this. I didn't even think that of it. You set the premise.
Well, that's because you work here. So the level of resistance you were offering was unacceptable to me, and I have to find alternative ways to teach that to you.
I still ain't learned.
I know.
I still ain't learned.
I know, because you don't like that.
He hated that.
He don't like that.
He ain't like that. He don't like that. Flip no.
Just rambunctious, rebellious.
No.
All of the R words, if you spell rambunctious with an R. What? I don't know how you spell shit.
All the R words. R-E? Watch your mouth. That's R.
That was crazy.
Watch yourself. I know there's some slick little undertone in your little points.
He said R word and I point. I wasn't thinking about you. What's the other R word? Name some more.
I said rambunctious and rebellious.
And then you said all the R words. What's another one?
I don't know. That was the end of mine.
All right.
I'm missing whatever joke y'all are saying.
They thought you were calling him a tard.
No. Oh, no.
That's what you were saying.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
I wouldn't do that.
I haven't thought that since.
I don't.
You ever thought that since when?
Since earlier in the show when you said you listened to the book of Malcolm X after I gave it to you.
No, I listened to the audio book. You knew I listened to it.
That's the only time I thought maybe, because I had you a physical book.
Yeah, you had me, huh?
You followed, like you had it reading to you while you scanned
Nah.
That's what I was talking. With his finger on the word. That's why.
You know what's so funny about y'all?
What?
That's you. You're not, but maybe you are. Listen, you know what's so funny about y'all? You should be ashamed of yourself, Doc. You should be trying to highlight somebody who you be calling me the R word.
I didn't call you. You brought the R word.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Mark uses his wisdom for evil.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be wanting to teach, wanting to come together, wanting to help inspire me. No, you don't inspire me.
That's good.
You insult like a nigga got picked on his whole life.
No.
And I don't think that's the case.
I'm not, bro. I wasn't even thinking about you being brought that up.
No, your man did. I didn't bring that up.
He didn't think about you being thought you were till you said.
The more you say it, the more we have to edit it.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Nobody thought that you were those things.
You can't do that, because I thought the same thing flipped though.
But he can't say that.
When he said all the R words.
Aberration funny part.
Yo, listen at the table, man. I got to teach you a couple of things, yo.
Sure.
I can teach you, bro.
I know you can.
R word.
Don't DM Shannon. Oh.
You do so. Come on, I'm Flip, man. Watch how you talk.
I wasn't even thinking about it. I love you too, bro. I wouldn't think.
Why is it bad if somebody knows you as a co-host from the Joe Budden podcast?
Because I'm still Queenzflip. I walked in the building as Queenzflip. I was just surprised. Shout out to Miss Pat up there at Sirius when she introduced me. It's on video. I looked at her like, this is one of Joe Budden's co-hosts. It's Flip, not even Queenzflip.
Yeah,
but that's how they know you.
No,
that's a good thing.
I didn't get in the building like that.
We're not saying that. But we saying that's how a lot of people.
But now they don't call.
A lot of people don't know. Hey, watch your mouth.
Flip, listen, and I'm not trying to shoot.
Watch your mouth.
Listen to what I'm saying though. Let's say your reach was here, and then I didn't do that. And then getting on this platform took your reach here. So there's a gap of people that might only know you from the Joe Budden podcast.
Hey, yo, but let me share something.
Do you agree with that?
No.
Okay.
If my reach is here and Joe brought me up here, cool, I understand that, right?
You're welcome.
Thank you. But here didn't stop. All here did was grow while I'm here. I came with my own enterprise. Nigga, watch your files.
Everybody know that, though.
No.
You know who you are.
Streets know.
You know who you are.
Now you interview Alpo.
Look what he playing,
huh?
bro.
Said what?
You interviewed Alpo, yo.
Bro, you know who you are. This isn't a joke, so don't take it the wrong way. You like Johnny Gill. Johnny Gill was a star on his own. Then he joined New Edition. He don't be like, I'm not Johnny Gill from New Edition. And now he made others after New Edition, and he's a bigger star. But he's still New Edition.
And there was the other Johnny Gill rumors.
Yeah. And I knew that.
A curious case unfolds that's equal parts comedy, tragedy, and cultural whodunit. Let's light a cigar and step into the fog of this podcasting Baker Street, where the clues are as slippery as a New York sidewalk after a summer rain. The Joe Budden Podcast, a cultural crucible where hip-hop's past, present, and future get diced up like onions in a Harlem kitchen, is in full swing. Joe, our Sherlock, is holding court, his voice a mix of gravel and glee as he navigates the conversation like a seasoned detective. Queenzflip, the wild card of the crew, is in rare form, his emotions rower than a fresh-cut mixtape. He's reeling from what he thought was a verbal jab from Marc Lamont, a man whose resume, CNN commentator, Temple University professor, activist, reads like a liberal's dream LinkedIn profile. Flip's convinced Marc called him the R-word, a term so toxic it's been banished from polite discourse, a linguistic landmine that can end careers faster than a bad SoundCloud drop. But Marc, ever the wordsmith, swoops in with a clarification. It was ram bunches, not the R-word, a playful jab at Flip's chaotic energy, not a slur. The misunderstanding is the spark that lights this powder keg, and what unfolds is a masterclass in how quickly a molehill becomes a mountain in the age of social media. From a liberal perspective, this is more than a podcast spat. It's a case study in the power of language to wound, heal, or just plain confuse. Words, as any good sleuth knows, are never just words. They're weapons, shields, and mirrors, reflecting the biases and baggage we all carry. Queenzflip's reaction, raw and unguarded, speaks to a deeper truth. In a world where black men are too often reduced to stereotypes, a perceived slur hits like a bullet. The R-word, with its history of dehumanizing people with disabilities, carries extra weight in communities already scarred by systemic marginalization. Flip's hurt isn't just personal. It's cultural, a reminder of how language can reopen old wounds. But Marc's clarification, delivered with the precision of a surgeon and the charm of a talk show host, shifts the narrative, turning a potential beef into a teachable moment. For a liberal, this is the heart of the case. The tension between intent and impact, between what's said and what's heard, in a culture where everyone's got a mic and a grudge. Let's zoom in home-style on the crime scene itself. The podcast studio, a pressure cooker where egos clash like cymbals in a trap beat. Joe Budden, our detective-in-chief, is in his element, his laughter cutting through the tension like a knife through butter. He's not just reacting to Flip's lament, he's orchestrating it, steering the conversation with the finesse of a conductor who knows every note of the chaos. Queenzflip, meanwhile, is the heart of this mystery, his vulnerability a stark contrast to his usual bravado. He's not just upset about a word. He's wrestling with the idea that someone like Marc, a figure he respects, might see him as less than. It's a power dynamic that's as old as hip-hop itself. The street versus the academy, the raw versus the refined, the hustle versus the hustle with a PhD. When Marc clarifies that he meant ram bunches, a phrase that sounds like it was cooked up in a freestyle cipher, Flip's relief is palpable, but the damage is done. The misunderstanding has exposed a fault line, and Joe's crew is all too happy to dig in. Now let's channel some Charlemagne Thaw God energy, because somebody's gotta get the donkey of the week for this mess, and it's a toss-up. Queenzflip, you get a half ear for jumping to conclusions faster than a tabloid headline. Bruh, you heard ram bunches and went straight to the nuclear option, thinking Marc was out here slinging slurs like it's 1995. But we get it, words hurt, especially when you're a black man in a world that's quick to label you. Marc Lamont, you get the other half here, not for what you said, but for not seeing how your playful jab could land like a sucker punch. You're a scholar, a wordsmith, a man who knows the weight of language. Next time, maybe pick a phrase that doesn't sound like it's one letter away from a crime. And Joe Budden, you're skating free this week, but only because you're holding down the fort, turning this misunderstanding into a masterclass in podcast chaos. Donkey of the Week goes to the whole situation, because in 2025, we're still tripping over words when we should be building bridges. Because there's a deeper clue here that's begging for a closer look. The podcast exchange isn't just about a misheard word, it's about the power dynamics that shape how we talk to each other. Queenzflip's reaction, raw as it is, speaks to a broader liberal concern, the way language can reinforce or challenge hierarchies. Marc Lamont Hill, with his Ivy League pedigree and media clout, represents a certain kind of authority, one that's often inaccessible to folks like Flip, who have built their names through grit and hustle. When Flip thinks Marc called him the R-word, it's not just about the slur, it's about the fear of being diminished, of being seen as less than by someone who's supposed to be an ally. Marc's clarification, swift and sincere, is a step toward reconciliation, but it doesn't erase the sting. From a liberal perspective, this is a reminder that allyship isn't just about intent. It's about understanding the context in which your words land. The humor here, and trust, it's hilarious in its own chaotic way, lies in the absurdity of the misunderstanding. Ram Bunches, it sounds like a rejected cereal brand, not a diss. Joe and his crew, with their quick-witted banter and relentless teasing, turn the moment into a comedy roast, poking at Flip's sensitivity while marveling at Marc's verbal acrobatics. It's peak podcast energy, where every misstep is a chance for a viral clip, and every clip is a chance to go viral. Joe's shock, real or performative, is the glue that holds this chaos together, his laughter a signal that this is less a crisis than a circus. For a liberal observer, this is both a strength and a flaw of the digital age. The ability to turn a misunderstanding into a public spectacle is a testament to free speech, but it's also a reminder of how quickly we can lose sight of the human cost. Let's widen the lens, because this case isn't just about Joe, Flip, and Marc. It's about the broader cultural landscape they're navigating. The Joe Budden podcast, with its mix of raw honesty and polished chaos, is a microcosm of hip-hop's evolution in 2025. It's a space where the street meets the studio, where authenticity and ambition collide like tectonic plates. Queenzflip's vulnerability, rare for a man who's built his brand on bravado, is a window into the pressures of being a public figure in a world where every word is scrutinized. Marc's role, as both a scholar and a media personality, highlights the tightrope walk of maintaining credibility across different worlds. And Joe, ever the orchestrator, is the bridge between them, using his platform to amplify voices while keeping the drama front and center. From a liberal perspective, this is the messy beauty of democracy. A space where everyone gets to speak, but not everyone gets to be heard the same way. The power struggle at the heart of this exchange, Flip's accusation of an ego battle, Joe's playful insistence that he's just teaching a lesson, is a clue to something bigger. Hip-hop, at its core, is a culture of competition, where respect is earned through bars, bravado, and resilience. But it's also a culture of community, where loyalty and understanding are supposed to hold it together. When Flip feels slighted, it's not just about a word. It's about his place in the pecking order, his fear of being reduced to a caricature. Marc's clarification, while well-intentioned, doesn't fully address that fear because it can't. The liberal in us sees this as a call to action, to build spaces where misunderstandings don't just spark drama but spark growth, where the goal isn't to win the argument but to understand it.